Welcome to a Real Chums news segment. I don't know what we're calling this. The Real Chums news? Movie news? Real news?
Real news?
No, we can't do that. In any case, we really want to talk about news. We want to share some thoughts because it's fun to talk about this stuff, and hopefully we can create some stuff so that we can get into conversation and be able to have stuff to share.
And we want to hear from you. Like, these are our thoughts on industry events that are happening, but also want to hear from what you guys have to say
in the comments below.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like really at the end of the day, like part of the reason why we do the Real Chums is because we get to talk together, but we want to create a place where we can talk as a community, as people who love movies and share our thoughts, not only on movies that we're doing on the podcast or in trailer reactions, but here with the news that's happening.
So weekly, we'll take a look at the previous week's big news. We won't hit everything. I think we'll just talk about the things that kind of stood out to us.
Yeah.
And then we have some thoughts on.
So first one, we've got Batman 2 delay. This is coming from Variety, along with Warner Brothers delaying several other movies.
Look, Warner Brothers is delaying, canceling left and right.
Yeah, what the heck?
So they're delaying this from October 3rd, 2025, all the way to October 2nd of 2026.
Dude, this is the
that is a whole year.
This is what happens with DC.
Now, we know that the Penguin TV show is supposedly coming out the end of this year, beginning of next year. Right? They started filming right before the strikes happened.
Right.
And then once the strikes were over, they went back to filming. So maybe this could be a reason why it's getting delayed and pushed back, just because...
We also have James Gunn coming out. They maybe want to put some... Or like the new next year, we've got James Gunn's
new
DCU movie, like that could be some complete play.
Do you think, would you be surprised if they cancel this and they just say, you know what, because Andy Muschietti, who did The Flash and the It movies, has been tapped to do the new Batman movies in James Gunn's DC universe, right? They're doing The Brave and the Bold. Do you think that they're... And I know James Gunn has said, yeah, we're not going to touch Matt Reeves' Batman. That's its own thing. But now that it's been a little over a year and Superman coming out next year, would you be surprised if they say, you know what, we're going to scrap it and we're going to... The next Batman is the Batman for the DCU?
Bro, well, I mean, but James Gunn promised Elseworld Stories that they wouldn't kill off Matt Reeves' Batman.
I just wouldn't be surprised if they do it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't put it past it for them to freaking rain on a parade and just shut it down.
Or
what?
At the end of this Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman, you have a post-credit scene where Superman shows up. And they just say, oh, this Batman has always been part of the new DCU.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're a hot mess. And we've said it once and we've said it again. James Gunn has one of the hardest jobs in Hollywood. That he's got to try to tell the stories that we want to hear from these amazing characters, but balance studio execs' demands
as well as mending
public opinion.
Yeah.
That's a freaking it is something that I don't know if I think if they cancel Batman 2, because it's been 2 years since Batman.
It came out in 2021.
3 years. 3 years? Yeah.
So the sequel is going to take 5-6 years for it to come out. Come on, dude.
We're back to square one.
We're back to square one, right? Robert Pattinson. I just called him Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. He's 36-ish, mid-30s. Okay? You get him to do another one in 2026. He'll be 38 by then. Dude. The third one, he will be in his 40s.
They plan to do a trequel.
I'm sure.
I mean, I thought they were just going to do this as a one-off,
just the second one. And
no, just the Batman. It was just the Batman because they everything went to crap, and so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just,
I don't know.
it's a hot mess.
It's a hot mess.
I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel it and they just say, you know what, we're going to try to just rein everything into one narrative, the DCU.
Especially if Superman does well.
Yeah.
It's because they wouldn't want to like mix up they don't want to confuse people, because that's part of the reason with the DC is that originally the DC we all thought everything was going in one direction, but Warner Bros. Had no idea what they were doing.
No, yeah. I wonder if this is just like them. It's a waiting game for them. Let's just postpone it as far out as we can. Let's gauge people's interest with the DCU, and let's just see what James can do.
Do you think James would ever get fired?
Oh yeah. No one is
safe.
No one's safe in Hollywood, but and more so, no one is safe at DC. At Warner, at Warner Brothers.
I mean, even at freaking Disney, we had X-Men '97 comes out this week, right?
X-Men '97 comes out this week, yeah.
And a week before, Bo DeMayo.
So the head writer for X-Men '97 also was a writer on Moon Knight, and took also a stab at Blade, which has been delayed by
friggin' forever,
right? Was suddenly fired.
Dude.
Now, no official word has come out from either Disney or Bo,
right,
as to what happened. All we know is that his email was turned off. He wasn't allowed back in. And there's lots of speculation that he has an OnlyFans account, and maybe Disney didn't like that.
It was
There's
scandalous.
I don't know. I'm not subscribed to his OnlyFans. Sorry, couldn't tell you. And there's like speculation that he was hard to work with. We don't know, right?
Right.
But it's just, it's
a little. I mean, look, whatever it may be, it is pretty wild to see a head writer, someone who's involved, who's like lined out a lot of things for a show that was. I mean, I don't know if it's heavily anticipated, but like OG lovers, people.
There's excitement around.
There is excitement around it.
There is, and the fact that he obviously wrote this, he also finished writing season 2, and had just had a pitch meeting with the other writers for a season 3.
Yeah.
So like the guy was invested into this, obviously.
It sucks to have someone finish it out for him, but whatever it may be, it is what it is. That's why I tell people this all the time. You do not owe the job you work for anything. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them any sort of loyalty, because they will fire you because they want to save costs. They will cut your project because they want to save costs.
Preach, Danny.
Bro,
get on that soapbox.
I'm going to tell you, I just cannot. I learned early, there was a year where I went to 3 different jobs, and in that 3, when I switched to those jobs, I grew in my income by $20,000, because I was not willing to settle for whatever it was, the mundanity or whatever, for the job. I was looking for something that I wanted, and I was going to seize it. And I learned that I didn't have to owe anybody anything, and it really opened my freaking life. So you shouldn't do that. And look, I get it. There are places that you're going to go to where you, like Hollywood's this way. Hollywood, this is the reason why I never made it. I didn't go to Hollywood, because when you go to Hollywood, you have to put in the dues. You have to do in the time, and you have to climb the ladder. And there are a lot of people that have been there for years that still haven't made it, because at the end of the day, it's who you know. It's that happenstance situation. Now, of course, you're in LA or whatever. You're gonna be able to have those opportunities.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can't find success in some other medium, or still making it big, doing something somewhere else. So you do you, and you don't owe the company you're working for anything.
For professional services and insights,
please
reach out to Danny. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'm excited for the show, so we'll see. I want to talk about your favorite franchise, the Venom franchise.
My favorite? Oh, bro, no. I've seen your shrine for Venom, and Madam, like I saw Madam Web just plastered everywhere in your car.
Yeah.
Listen, if you don't know, Marcel has beef. I'm talking 44-ounce steak slapped on that grill, beef.
Look, everyone has beef with Sony. Okay, like, why? Look, all right, let's just talk about it. Venom got pushed up. Okay, from November.
We have Batman,
who got delayed a whole year.
Kills it in the people loved it.
Yeah.
And they're delaying it.
And then Venom, that's just it's whatever.
Listen, Sony is trying to figure out what they're trying. You tweeted on a side note, that they're going to bring back all the Spider-Mans to theaters. Look here, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm so down to go see Spider-Man 1 and 2, like OG Tobey Maguire's in theaters again. Especially Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I freaking love that one. It is top Spider-Man.
Yeah.
With Doc Ock, just legendary. But they lost so much crap with Venom Web.
So here's what I'm thinking. I wonder if they're trying to save face, and they're saying we're gonna push up Venom because that's of their series of movies. I guess that's the one that people like. Yeah, well, I don't like them.
We know.
I do not like these Venom movies. Could care less for Morbius. I forgot that Kraven was coming out this year?
It was supposed to come out, and then I don't know. I was actually going to bring this up with you.
Yeah.
Because we watched the trailer, and I was like, I'll probably go watch it.
I'm not watching it.
But it got delayed?
I don't know. Like, I feel like the trailer came out, and like we just...
It disappeared.
Madam Web did not perform in any way, right? So like, I wonder if this is them trying to like a PR mess for them, and they're just like, let's push Venom earlier, and let's have all 8 Spider-Man movies
go back to theater. Which
to try to make money.
They're going to get money again.
Yeah, they're going to make money off of it.
But the fact that this is where it's come down to, I don't know.
How do you like the title for this movie, Venom: The Last Dance?
No, I didn't like. Well,
here's the thing. I will watch this movie if it's a musical. Come on, who doesn't want to see Tom Hardy
doing the cha-cha?
Doing cha-cha, and then he transforms into Venom, and he's also doing jazz fingers
with Venom head.
Venom hands coming out. Venom: The Last Dance. It's got to be a musical, right?
You're right. I'm only gonna watch it if Timothée Chalamet shows up.
That's not even a freaking look.
Timothée Chalamet would never.
So he was told by Leo, Timothée Chalamet, years ago. When after he was nominated, after he did, what was it, the one with the Amazon one, Good Boy, something boy, I can't remember.
Good. Yeah, I think it's Good Boy. Anyways, go.
He was told by Leo, never do a superhero movie, because Leo is very, very well known for turning down every superhero movie that's been offered to him. Correct. And he will never do a superhero movie, right? Yeah. He has said it many times. And so Leonardo DiCaprio told Timothée Chalamet, like, you want advice from me? Never do a superhero movie.
Okay? I mean, Ben Affleck.
But I think like 2 weeks ago, he was being interviewed during the whole Dune press tour.
Correct.
And he did say, he's like, yeah, if the right script comes along, I will do it.
Listen, the man's freaking good.
What would you like to see him do?
Oh, that's a good question.
Nightwing.
He's too old. He's not tall enough.
Yeah, okay.
He could probably get built, but Nightwing's a gymnast. Look, Dick Grayson's a gymnast.
Yeah.
You gotta be big and broad. You gotta be, he's a gymnast. I don't know. That's a good question. I almost feel like he'd be a better villain.
I would like that.
I think he'd play a very awesome villain.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what Timothy ends up. But man, the world's his oyster now, my guy.
Dude, that guy. He's the next Leo. He's replacing Leo.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about Patty Jenkins. So she was on a podcast, the Talking Pictures podcast.
Correct.
And here, I want to read what she says. Okay. Quote, when I left Star Wars to do Wonder Woman 3, and I started working on that, we talked about, well, maybe I'll come back to Star Wars after Wonder Woman 3. So we started a deal for that to happen. Then, when Wonder Woman 3 went away, Lucasfilm and I were like, oh, we've got to finish this deal. We finished the deal right as the strike was beginning. So now I owe a draft of Star Wars. So we'll see what happens there. Who knows? So back in 2020, end of 2020, do you remember this? She did a whole scene, like a whole video of her walking down a runway, talking about, you know, her love for aircraft. Her dad was a pilot, a fighter pilot, and that she was going to, I quote, she was going to film the best fighter pilot movie in history. Okay, and then like it cuts, or then like it pans over to an X-wing. You never saw this. No. She's wearing like a jumpsuit. Okay, and it pans over to an X-wing on the runway, and like I think like she like climbs the ladder and like gets on. Oh. She said she was going to make the best fighter pilot movie ever.
And goes to the X-wing.
And goes into an X-wing. 3 years later, you have Top Gun Maverick come out, and I just think, I mean, we can all agree, Top Gun Maverick is freaking good.
Phenomenal.
Right? I think, I wonder if she, like, by her saying that, and then Top Gun Maverick comes out, she was like, oh, why did I say I was going to make the best movie? There's no way you're going to compete with literally mounting the camera into a cockpit, teaching your actors how to work the camera so they can do takes and takes.
And not only that, but have Tom Cruise, who is methodical,
right,
in his approach to every single movie,
and compete with you making a X-wing pilot fighter movie in the volume.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
So again, she's still going to write a Rogue Squadron. I want this movie. Like, I think it'd be great. Yeah. I would love for this movie to happen, but
Rogue Squadron specifically is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Her saying that she was going to make the best pilot fighter movie in history, and then Maverick comes out. I just think, oh, you got a little bit ahead of yourself there. Good
luck. That
luck.
movie's phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, it is.
The editing, dude, that movie's just, it truly is a blessing in cinema.
No, yeah, but I think she has the opportunity to write to create a story with X-wing fighters, right? Mismatched individuals who are tasked with an assignment. They get shot down, fall behind enemy lines.
Look, I've said this before. I think Star Wars needs more shows that tell compelling stories that would be in different genres, like a war movie, like you should, like a pilot. Behind enemy line, like Mayday, you're trying to have to rescue. There's the tension of having, is he going to get captured? Is he going to get killed by the enemy? Like that whole thing, like in a Star Wars world, like yes. And my hope is that like Disney figures out their stuff and they don't just rely solely on volume, and that they look at the Acolyte and say like, and we see what happens there, and they're like, okay, we can maybe do a little bit of both. Let's just tell a compelling story. Let's leverage the tools that we have to tell an amazing story with what we have.
I'm excited for this. But I'm also like, they've announced like what, 8 movies in the last 5 years, and
Star Wars, look,
they cancel them. Yeah. They just don't know what
they get somebody, and then like they don't like what they did with the different movie, so they nix them. Disney is hurting.
We'll talk about some of the stuff George Lucas, I think it was earlier today. We'll talk about this in our next news segment next week. But they're hurting. Investors are concerned.
Yep.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
But they have the capacity to do some great stuff. They really do.
So,
they just need
they have great IP, and that's what it comes down to. So, all right. Next up, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson as the next Bond.
So today, it was reported by The Sun that Everything or Nothing Productions, Sion Productions, have sent an offer to Aaron Taylor Johnson for Bond, and the offer's there. They're just waiting for him to sign. Insiders say that he's pretty committed and that he'll sign by the end of the week, and then at that point they'll do a whole press release around it. But yeah. What do you think of Aaron?
I I think it's good. He's got the like, he's got the looks for it. He's got more of a shaggier hair.
Yeah,
But I mean, they could trim it down. And
yeah, you can trim it down.
No, but he's. I mean,
Frank, let him have it long.
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, honestly, I kind of like would love to see something different.
Yeah.
But look, I'm always a fan of freaking 007. I'm not gonna lie. Screw 007. Let's just go with Ana de Armas as following CIA.
I think they wrote themselves into a weird predicament with that last one.
They did.
I really like the last one.
I really love that arc.
Yeah, that entire arc. But it really felt like they introduced, like, what's her face, Ana de Armas' character. They introduced the James Bond team, M, Q, Moneypenny, etc. And then now, like, I'm curious to see what they're gonna have to get a whole new M, a whole new Q.
Well,
everything now. Right?
they're gonna
because that arc is done.
Essentially they're resetting the 007 universe, which I'm not mad about. Like, I would actually love to see Q
go on a mission with
no, just more gadgets, more interaction with like the team. Because I mean, in Daniel Craig's 007, we get way more Bond as the character Bond, and what makes him tick, what like his woes, his like the struggle that he has with his agency, which I appreciate. Like I the like little tug of war that he has with them, but at the end of the day, like we didn't get as much as I think we could have been really fun with the technology that we have. To see more gadgets, to see more.
Would you like to see
spy stuff?
Would you like to see not maybe complete like the way that Mission Impossible has done, where right you have Benji, you have all these supporting characters on missions with James, or I'm sorry, with Ethan. Do you want to see kind of like that Q going out on the field?
Good question. I think if we could, what I would do is I would love to incorporate characters, and then in the like towards the end of the arc, they bring some of those characters back for like the big mission.
Here's my pitch that I've been saying ever since the last one came out. Take him back to the 60s.
Yeah.
Let's
make a period piece.
Make a period piece. Bring a James Bond with like the visuals that we have now, and make it a period piece in the 60s, and just start there.
That's a good play. It's a good play because you don't have to worry about being super high tech. You can still be high tech, but for the time period, you can introduce different perspectives or plays with things that are happening in the world at that time. So like, there's a lot of options.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've been pitching that since the last one.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned it already with the eight SpiderMan movies coming back. That was kind of our last one. But yeah, good stuff. I'm glad we brought this back.
Yeah.
Let us know what's something we missed. If you feel like there's something comes up, if you find something you want our take on it, please send it to us here in the comments, or you're at realchums.com. That's our email, or just DMing us on some sort of social platform at realchums.
We'll catch you next time, guys.